realized the importance of talking about mental health after witnessing his older sister work through a difficult time in her life.
She was going through depression, suicidal moments, and we were in a household which my mom was a single mom, and I had to help her with my sister. That was like a wake-up call for me.
Recently, Jose took notice when his buddy Hayford Dogby was going through a tough time dealing with remote school and the isolation of the pandemic.
He convinced me. He said, just try one meeting. And after I tried one meeting, we tried breathing techniques, and it was really, really helpful. I'm the type of person who always likes to be outside, be with friends, be with people, build connections. But the pandemic really hurt that side of me.
Even though our program is so to speak, extracurricular, these students are really making a change that's affecting the culture of their schools, that just by their presence, that's signaling to the rest of their peers, their friends, that it's okay to talk about mental health. You know, we're here for you, we support you, you're not alone.
Despite the hardships of this past year, these Gen Z students are living proof that they have what it takes to take control of their mental health.
The atmosphere in the meetings is very welcoming. We want to make it feel like we're a family. It's really important that we know our basics in mental health. It's very important that we know how to cope with any situation that we might encounter in the future. So it's definitely something that's gonna help us every single day of our lives.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. Awesome to see you.
Well, we got to give a shout out and a big thank you to Jose Aguilera and the whole team there. Our Minds Matter. That is some great work they're doing. So as the world begins to open up at schools, as they return to in-person learning, how do we navigate the transition to make sure that kids have the support they need? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready?
We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here. A very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes.
This is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world.
Love it!
It does seem as if this White House doesn't want to bring a lot of high-profile attention to the issue. What efforts might depoliticize vaccine hesitancy? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
The COVID vaccines are here.
And it's been a little confusing.
So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Roll up your sleeves.
And visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out when and where to get your vaccine.
Congratulations to Lester Holt, the most trusted TV news anchor in America, on receiving the prestigious Edward R. Murrow Lifetime Achievement Award for a career dedicated to excellence in journalism.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Congratulations to Lester Holt, the most trusted TV news anchor in America, on receiving the prestigious Edward R. Murrow Lifetime Achievement Award for a career dedicated to excellence in journalism.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for my 93-year-old dad. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America, and plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
The Meet the Press Chuck Todd Cast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Mind Matters, a special examining the toll the pandemic has taken on the mental health of our nation's youth. The first place to get a child mental help actually isn't a therapist. It's going right to a child's pediatrician or perhaps a family physician. So here to help us navigate that transition as the world begins to reopen and kids go back to school and learning in person is pediatrician Dr. Edith Bracho Sanchez and family physician Dr. Jen Caudle. Guys, thank you, doctors, both for being here. Dr. Bracho Sanchez, we'll start with you. As a pediatrician, you are the first place we bring our kids. So how do you think pediatricians plan to address mental health in their offices as the country begins to reopen?
That's right, Carson. Good morning. I think first to say that we know that this is a problem. We know that many kids are struggling currently, and we know that we have to find it. We have to diagnose it so that we can get them help. So in the months to come, I think parents should expect when they come to the pediatrician's office to see a number of surveys, right? Some kids are very vocal and they tell us, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling down. Some kids are not. And so we have to ask them in a way that feels private, in a way that allows them to sort of reflect on their own. And sometimes that's a survey on an iPad, right? It's sort of given them that space to sort of answer the questions privately without an adult probing them. So you can expect those types of surveys. You can also expect the pediatrician to ask those questions point blank, and you can expect the pediatrician to ask you to step outside for a moment so we can have a conversation with your child. And it's not because they're hiding anything that we need to do this. It is because sometimes they're embarrassed. They don't want to worry you by telling the pediatrician or disclosing that they're struggling with their mental health. So a lot of efforts, Carson, to try to get to the bottom of this.
At what point might you recommend a therapist?
I think it all depends on what's appropriate for the child's age, right? I think if a child is feeling a little anxious, a little sad, but it's something that comes and goes, it's something that they are manifesting in a way that is age appropriate, we might watch it. Now, if the symptoms are persistent, if they're sort of interfering with their ability to function, to go to school, to relate to other kids, we're going to go ahead and refer those kids. And we're often the best place to start because we know, the therapists in the community, we know whether this child might need a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And we also, can partner with parents. I think it's important to also know that we're not in any way trying to obstruct this. If you come to me and you say, I want to go see a therapist, I'm going to send you to a therapist. The point is to partner and to try to figure out the best place.
And Dr. Caudle, it's hard for parents to kind of start this conversation when they go to their pediatrician. What should they say at their next appointment if they have issues?
Right. That's a really great question. And honestly, sometimes, as was mentioned just now, it's difficult for children to vocalize this too. One of my best tips that I like to give is the importance of giving examples. So rather than a parent saying something like, my child is just not acting right, or the child themselves saying, I'm just not feeling right, try to give me examples of what that means. A parent might say, well, I've noticed my child is withdrawn and doesn't want to be around his friends, or my daughter is now crying all the time, or is irritated or snappy. My son won't leave his room, sleeps 14 hours a day. These specific examples gives us really an idea it gives us insight really into what's actually going on with the child. Also gives us an idea as well if we need to look at maybe other underlying causes, because of course we want to look at the whole person, the whole patient, not only their mind but their body as well.
So 12 to 15-year-olds were just recently now allowed to have the vaccination. That's going to help certainly in the fall for school reopenings. But Dr. Caudle, what could be some possible obstacles as kids return to in-person full-time learning?
Yeah, this is really uncharted territory, I think, for all of us. And what it means for children is it's once again yet another change. And the good thing is we know that children are by and large resilient, which is wonderful. However, children have gone through a lot of changes in the last couple of years, and we know that some kids have really thrived in this pandemic environment. Maybe they sort of like studying at home. The online learning is a good system for them. They're not commuting so much. Yeah. But other children, it's not been so easy for them, especially if they're social butterflies, et cetera. So every child is very different. One of the things I think can be very, very important here is to think about what you've learned as a parent. Think about what you've learned about your child in the last year. The good thing about children being around is that you've gotten to see them, their habits, eating, et cetera. So pay attention to those and really incorporate those for the next year.
Well, that's some great advice, guys. Thank you so much. And a big thanks to all of our experts for joining us today and to all the students who spoke freely about this past year. We hope this last hour in collaboration with the Walton Family Foundation helped you and gave you some new ways to think about mental health. And remember the most important thing, we're all in this together. So long.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. We're going to do our part and get vaccinated live.
A very special naturalization ceremony.
This is a really inspiring group. Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world.
Love it!
Right now on NBC News Now.
Here in Chicago, about 20,000 middle schoolers returning to school today.
They also took advantage of existing vaccine distribution networks throughout Alaska.
Congratulations to Lester Holt, the most trusted TV news anchor in America, on receiving the prestigious Edward R. Murrow Lifetime Achievement Award for a career dedicated to excellence in journalism.
Tonight, the CDC's new outdoor mask guidelines. What changed that allowed this new recommendation to be made? If we do nothing, what happens to a city like Houston?
You're going to repeat this movie over and over.
NBC News Lester Holt.
The COVID vaccines are here, and it's been a little confusing. So it's more important than ever to be alive. Roll up your sleeves and visit planyourvaccine.com to figure out where and when you're going to get your vaccine.
Ready actors. The horror film, a talented actress, and a deadly shot. Dateline's newest podcast, Killer Roll.
Action!
Subscribe for free wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for my 93-year-old dad. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America, and planyourvaccine.com. Your plan.
Ready, actors.
Dateline's newest podcast, Killer Roll.
Action!
Subscribe for free wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back with Start Today and a story from Carson we have been waiting all week to hear.
Yeah, all week you've been raving about the Start Peloton instructor, Alex Toussaint. He motivates thousands of
But it's much than working out. It's incredible. And so he always says, validate the time is.
baby. Let's go, AT. Come on. Woo! Ha, this is how we do it, baby.
AT's in the house, man. It's so good to see you. I have to just thank you so much, man. You saved so many of us from unnecessary bad days. I mean, it's been a crazy 10 months, man. But you are the constant.
Lock and load. This ain't daycare. Activate, baby.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
Journey to this moment, and it wasn't easy. Raised by Haitian immigrants and a strict father who sent him off to military school to get in line.
So I had a real just troubled childhood growing up, finding myself in and out of schools, a tough mental state as a kid. My father's a very regimented, strict kind of dude. He thought the best way to save my life so I don't end up a statistic or in jail was to send me to military school to give me the opportunity to have discipline at a young age in life. So I had to because for me, that was the day that I stopped existing in life and really started living in life.
It's incredible. I love it. And people who are watching this right now, this is what you do. This is, a microcosm of what it's like to take one of your rides, your class.
Absolutely.
It's much more than a ride. You walk us through a journey in life.
Like I said, how you view yourself is how you treat yourself, Peloton.
The pandemic is disproportionately hurting people.
This is
to believe just 10 years ago, mopping floors and asked for to teach class.
Mopping floors and the next I knew I went. They saw light in me, I didn't see light in myself. I just want to pull the light out of people. If you hear me say in class, I always say activate your greatness. It just may take somebody to believe in you for you to believe in yourself.
Wow. So most people probably think you take a Peloton ride, to lose weight or whatever. I mean, what got me into it, I'm over 650 rides, 99.9% are all yours. And
let's count that up first. So you're just gonna try to overlook that.
I've had a history of panic disorder from my mental.
and dropping movies.
Physically is one thing, but internally are we okay? And that was my model coming into every single class. Like, you're dealing with anxiety, to see that members are going through something life-changing and are reaching out to me for advice, for inspiration, for light, for courage. And for me, it's like, I need to show up.
If you're watching this, if you're moving today, you woke up, you blessed. You're ultimately winning.
But if you want the Alex Toussaint, no, but know that
Strength is also his taste in music. And Alex let me help DJ a playlist for the ride.
great suggestions you sent over too. When I saw that come through, I said, oh, that's my man. That's my brother for sure. We're going to turn that up.
Once again, 30-minute hit ride brought to you by my brother Carson Daly and myself. Hope y'all ready for this playlist.
Because your playlists are always on point. That song, you're like, all right, here we go. It's got that bounce to it. It's like, here we go. Like, all right, we're going to do this ride, man. Are you ready?
Carson, validated, baby.
Let's go. Validation. I'm tired.
You thought you was done? Now it's time to show out, baby. Come on.
Last song. Thank you, Jesus.
Final stretch. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2. 30-minute hit ride didn't complete today. Certified.
18.
You know, maybe in a room until I was willing to, myself to reaching into a community. In this case, it's Peloton. But I urge people to find your own version of Alex. Find your own thing in your life that pushes you out of your own comfort zone. As Alex says, this isn't daycare.
I mean, I'm so impressed. Yes. You're motivating me.
I'm just pumped. I'm so glad we could do that. Thank you to Yael, our producer, did a great job with it. But again, man, this is about people's mentals too, and which I've done. I need what you need. Who are without right when I ride ended, we rolled on this. This is how it is in the Daly household. Siri walks in with brownies. I just kill myself on the bike, and then my wife, who's an incredible cook, is like, "Here's some fresh brownies." I mean, that's why I look the way I look.
Oh my gosh, it's love.
Yeah, it is love. So thanks, Bingo.
You know what? You need all the things for mental health, right?
It does seem as if this White House doesn't want to bring a lot of high-profile attention to the issue. What efforts might depoliticize vaccine hesitancy? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Congratulations to Lester Holt, the most trusted TV news anchor in America, on receiving the prestigious journalism. With Lester Holt.
It has been a long year.
Yeah, where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like, really confusing.
So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get
93-year-old dad. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America, and plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back with our series Heart Smart today, and we've been looking hard at the issue all month because heart disease is the leading cause of death among women. And Carson, as we know,
it is painful, but if it helps just one family, then it's certainly worth it. My mom and I had a special relationship. We were very, very close. She lived every day like it was her last. She had a saying, go big or don't go at all. And she was known to my kids and my sister's kids as Kiki. You would remember if you met Patty Daly Caruso, as so many people have. She died. And I would guess that mom was part of it. She had some health issues. My mom was type 1 diabetic, juvenile onset, nothing in the heart, no symptoms, never saw it coming. The phone at night, I answered the phone going, is Dad okay? And it was my sister. And she goes, no, it's not Dad, it's Mom. And I was like, Mom? What do you mean, Mom? I just left Mom. Mom's great. No one's worried about Mom. No, what happened? She had a heart attack and she's gone. Oh my God. I mean, I don't even know I don't know how to articulate my relationship with my mom. Almost a year and a half away from her passing. She wrote, you with your family, I've had thanking speakers, my incredible father. It's like new. You know, symptoms aren't always there, but it is a huge silent killer. It's the most common cause of death in American women. And we subsequently found out that the correlation between type 1 diabetes and heart disease, heart event, are very, very, very high. As painful as it might be for me to talk about this publicly, if it helps one other son who's out there with all eyes on Mom and Dad trying to take care of them, my advice is look out for heart disease, because it's literally killing women in this country more than any other thing. The last text exchange we had, hours before she died, was the most loving mother-son text exchange you could possibly have. We love you, the best son on the planet Earth. Thanks for all you did and do to make our lives better and to make us so proud of you. And a great day tomorrow together. All of our love always, Mom and Dad. I mean, so special to be able to read this, and it's so, all of it, so filled with love. I mean, I miss her so much, it's ridiculous. The only solace I take is that I have a great sense of faith, and the love that we had was so strong and is so strong. The feeling of hugging my mom, I'm 100% sure I will know that feeling again.
Well, Carson.
Oh, thanks, guys.
We got to see your mom and know her a
Yeah,
little bit.
you guys know
loved
well,
her.
yeah.
And Quinn is here, your
Brought my sister, yeah, she's the best. She is more than just the pot pie chef here on the show. She is my inspirational rock. And we have also Dr. John Torres, our medical correspondent here at NBC. And I think in the piece, and when Quinn made that tough phone call to me that night, and I want to mention, by the way, just a little context, today is also National Caregiver Day, which is incredible. And my mom was literally caregiving for my father, who was end-stage cancer. That's why this was such a head fake for us, because Dad was not in good shape. And she was so stressed out taking care of him. So there's that in the background. But we'd always been worried about her hyperglycemic crashing. Her blood sugar was always the issue because she's diabetic. We never saw this heart thing coming. How come no one ever mentioned it?
and especially type 1 diabetics, because their blood sugars tend to go up and down a lot more erratically than type 2 diabetics, and so it's a little harder to control. You're right, it's one of the major risk factors for heart disease. Hopefully along the line somewhere there with the doctors that were taking care of her, somebody, at least were looking into the tests that were happening there. But you can imagine she has an endocrinologist, a primary care physician, an OBGYN. I mean, she has all these doctors taking care of her. The coordination isn't necessarily there. We're starting to get to the point where that coordination is happening. And there even is starting to become specialties that combine all these. And so you get more of the word in this. So that's the important thing.
What could you do, Dr. Forrest? I mean, it's Carson's out here at Quinn telling the story because they're hoping somebody is at home watching and will know something that they didn't know. So, okay, what would you do if you were in this circumstance?
First off, it's hard not to feel guilty about something like this. I went through something similar. It's hard not to feel guilty about it. At the same time, the most important thing you can do with somebody who's type 1 diabetic is help them control their sugars, because that's everything for their health. And if you can get their sugar under control, or at least help them control their sugars, it lowers the chance of
Mom was not going to slow down on the red wine.
Right.
That was just not going to happen. We tried.
But she did live. I mean, that's my understanding, is that she did live a long and pretty complication-free life.
Very complication-free.
She she exercised. I mean, and I think if, you know, you're out there and you have ways, I would just say because we got her for 74 years and she was with her grandkids and she was 7 be born, and she worked really hard to stay alive.
No problem with high blood pressure, no problem with the eyesight, no obesity, some of the things that you read about with type 1.
Right, some of the other risk factors that are associated with it. She had the diabetes, which again can increase that risk factor of cardiovascular heart disease. The best thing you can do to answer your question, Savannah, is ask 2 simple questions. My risk of heart disease, and the simple was what to do about that.
I know after she died, I don't know if you did like a gnarly scan. It gives you a number of your plaque and your arteries and all that, and I was good. If I had known this, I probably would have demanded that she did it. Would that have been something preventative?
It potentially could have if it had happened years ago. And again, we're learning more as time goes on. And the particular message I think here is for young diabetics to take a look at that early on, because it takes its toll over the years, and it's one of those things that builds up. So if you can get it when they're young, and that's the important thing. Keep factors under control and keep an eye on heart disease, and you start getting
Wait, quickly before we go, she's like 7. She's been giving her insulin every day for 67 years. Does that much insulin every day make your blood a little bit thicker, make your heart over time work a little bit harder? Did that contribute? Is that a true theory?
No, not necessarily, and it's not so much the insulin, it's what it's doing to the blood sugars, because she gives her a shot, blood sugars go down, it goes back up later. Yeah. We have technology now that is trying to keep that under control, basically artificial pancreas contact. That's coming down here. That's going to be something really beneficial.
Wow.
The COVID vaccines are here, and it's been a little confusing. So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Roll up your sleeves and visit planyourvaccine.com to figure out where.
NBC News now.
About 20,000 returning to school today. Vaccine throughout the last.
Download the NBC News app.
What's about to happen on our plaza is you're all going to get your very first COVID vaccine.
I'm excited.
She's excited. 3, 2, 1, get it!
So grateful.
Is that close to crying?
Here we go.
for breaking news in our changing world. Download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
We are all coping in different ways during the coronavirus outbreak, but one thing a lot of us have in common right now are some elevated levels of stress and anxiety, Savannah.
Over the year, it was a Zoom call with another resident and spoke to his
Kevin, the truth is, it doesn't work every single day, especially now in these times. As you know, Kevin's been, as you mentioned, very honest about his journey both on and off the court, dealing with depression and panic attacks. And I've talked to Kevin before about how each of us manage our anxiety and how liberating it is to really just discuss things openly. And as we face the coronavirus and all this unknown, we think that this conversation has really never been as important as it is.
I wanted to check in on you. How are you personally with all this?
I'm okay. Just been trying to navigate a really, really surreal and weird time right now.
Kevin Love is like many of us at the moment, figuring out a strange new kind of normal.
Every day it feels like something new, something's evolving. We don't know what's going to come. So I think that unknown makes people really uneasy, including myself. But overall, I feel pretty good.
The Cleveland Cavaliers' five-time All-Star has been outspoken about battling depression, fear, and panic attacks.
I had a moment where I thought I was going to die. I had never experienced something like that. I thought I was having a heart attack.
Heart racing.
And I was running around looking for something that I couldn't find. I just wanted to get air. And so I ended up basically unconscious on the floor.
He helped pave the way for so many, including me, to publicly share struggles with anxiety.
We owe you a great debt of gratitude for that. And these are some really crazy times. I mean, people who are mildly anxious, their anxiety's through the roof, you, me, normal people, everybody. Have you been feeling and seeing that?
Absolutely. Just kind of like you said, that a lot of people that were mildly anxious or had feelings like that have stepped into a place where that unknown is making them even more anxious. They don't know when they're going to work again. They don't know what this is going to look like, how this is going to change us coming out of this.
But Love remains grateful as he's taking a step back to embrace this quarantine time at home, along with his girlfriend Kate Bach and their dog Vestry.
Mostly we have a similar routine every day. We watch a lot of movies, a lot of film, working out, making sure that we're doing that, keeping our mind right, super creative in the morning or at night, taking a big step back and just in and out, just breathing.
What book are you reading?
What book? You know, it's funny. I'm actually reading The Wolf of Wall Street. I actually have it here with me. And a great book, which I feel like the guy is telling my story. It's Scott Stossel. It's called My Age of Anxiety.
When it comes to managing anxiety during this crisis, we both find creating a routine is critical to our mental health, and it's not always easy.
Like you, my mind gets racing, right? So I need mental focal points. So structures really helped me. Once we had a schedule for the kids, hey, we're going to get up at 9 o'clock. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance like you're in school. We're going to get them going. Then I'm going to work out. What's helped you?
I think the same thing. I have my morning routine, but still taking that time to separate myself from my devices and getting things done, I think alleviates that stress.
Another really important key is keeping human connection, both near and far.
Social distancing doesn't mean social isolation. People are lonely right now, but you don't have to fall into that isolation. Tell me more about that.
No, and it's, that can be really tough. Get on your Zooms, your IG Lives, FaceTimes. Like there's times throughout the day where myself, I'll just say I got 10 minutes, I'm just going to pick up and call, a teammate that I haven't talked to or, a friend back home or my sister.
And while he's taking a step back to reset, Love is also stepping forward in supporting his local community, buying hundreds of meals for healthcare workers and making a giant pledge to arena staff.
And you put $100,000 right into out of your foundation to their pockets. Now your organization and your teammates have also stepped up. Why was that so important?
It was really important to me just to help the people that have helped me along in my story.
Ultimately, during this scary time, Love says we've got to lean on each other like never before, because in some way or another, we're really all in this together.
Coming out of this, I think the worst thing that can happen is we're unchanged, and I think we will change and find different ways to communicate and just like cherish each other in the moment that we're in.
Yeah, guys, and there's no real like straightforward. So what's the answer? Like, what's the 1, 2, 3? What do I do to not be anxious? It's different for everybody. But the one thing that Kevin and I kept going back to was just that, what you saw. It's people talking. I said in one of the articles I wrote recently for Prevention Magazine, I said I didn't know I was one of the millions of people suffering in silence until I wasn't one of them. Not talking, not speaking, not hitting somebody up on Zoom or texting a friend or reaching out to a loved one and saying, I don't feel so great. Just start talking. It's going to do wonders for you. And you might be wondering what Kevin thinks about the NBA and should it resume. And he's hungry to get back on the court. It's obviously in his blood. He's trying to be patient. He trusts the bosses at the NBA. They'll go back when it's truly safe. He did say to me, though, that since the NBA was the first league to officially stop the games, maybe they can also be the first ones to get back to it.
That was such a helpful conversation, buddy. You have no idea.
Thank you, Carson. Yeah, it's so good to hear you guys talk about it. And I think it.
Wishing the best for people.
Yeah, hopefully it opens up that path of communication. Just share it, and it'll become smaller, hopefully. This morning, today's talker, powerhouse in music for nearly 2 decades, Pink.
Both powerhouses. So Pink's on a world tour right now, and today she's dropping her new album. It's called Hurts to Be Human. You caught up with your old pal.
I did. Our friendship goes back to the very beginning of her career, which, believe it or not, was 20 years ago. The beginning of mine, for that matter, too. She's been topping the charts ever since with a signature sound and dedicated following that's made her one of the most iconic performers of her time.
After nearly 2 decades in the spotlight, Pink is showing no sign of slowing down. Today, her latest studio album, Hurts to Be Human, makes its debut as she wraps up her 87-city world tour. It appears everything and nothing has changed for the chart topper.
Hi, old friend.
Hi, old buddy, old pal. I was just watching a clip of you and I on TRL.
Her name is Pink, and she's right here, so say hello.
And like,
oh my God.
Almost 20 years ago.
I know.
This could have been yesterday.
Yeah, and then nothing's changed.
Nothing's
Except
changed
now
with
I'm just the bad cop in my house, and I'm a mom. That's all that's changed.
As she approaches her 40th birthday, Pink is still spreading her message of tolerance and acceptance to her fans and to her children, with husband Carey Hart, 7-year-old Willow, and 2-year-old Jameson.
How has being a mom changed you as an artist? Are you thinking more consciously about now, these are songs they're going to hear?
I am completely changed since being a mom. I'm much more open. I'm much more accepting of myself. I'm much more thoughtful. I think about the world more and what we're leaving for these kids and the direction we're headed in. And so I guess it changes your music.
They're out on the road with you?
Oh yeah, everybody brings their kids out.
How do you
it's
do
like
that?
Romper room. I don't know, it's fun. I like noise. The kids bring a levity to the situation that wouldn't otherwise exist. They make everything fun. They bring so much joy. They're entertainment. They're thoughtful. It's rad.
Never one to hold anything back, Pink has often shared intimate moments of her life and her family on social media. But after taking heat for some recent posts, she says she's going to keep her private life more private.
How do you describe your relationship on social media? What would you say?
Love, hate.
Love, hate.
A place where love totally exists and where so many good things have happened.
Do you regret sharing
Never.
family stuff?
Never.
Kind of being personal, showing pictures of the kids, this and that, just to receive the criticism?
After the latest criticisms, I'm so tired of it. People are just getting nastier and nastier. I think I'll probably take a break from, I think I will stop sharing my children as much as I do.
Walk me home in the dead of night.
The lead single from her latest album, Walk Me Home, is an instant hit. Her music video, directed by The Greatest Showman's Michael Gracie, has already been viewed more than 20 million times.
I love The Greatest Showman. It's Willow's favorite movie. It has become my favorite movie. We've seen it 1,000 times. And it came around time to do the video, and it's like, well, Michael Gracie, we need that. I want some of that magic. It was much more grown up and artful than things that I've done. So I was all about it. I love it.
You recently got a star right near here from the Hollywood Walk of Fame. What was that like?
It was surreal. I brought my whole family. It was terribly embarrassing and really sweet.
And if people walk by your star at Hollywood Walk of Fame, what do you want them to think about you as they're sort of reminiscing about you as an artist?
I just want him to walk by and go, there's a badass right there. Or, I remember that song that helped me. That's it.
You have a lot of people, I'm sure, that your music has helped. Do they reach out to you?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's the great side of Twitter and Instagram. I mean, every day, this song saved my life. Or knowing that you went through that too, you know, it gets graphic. It's real. It's very authentic. No one BS's me. It's always straight to the punch. One night, I read this mom said, I'm here with my son Calvin, who's 9. He has Down syndrome. We'll be in the wheelchair section. He just beat cancer, and this is our celebration. So I don't know if I'm gonna see him or not, but right before I take off, I go, I'm coming for you, Calvin. And I land over the wheelchair section, and I look down, and there's this woman going, and Calvin's going, hi! And I'm literally crying, and Calvin's waving, and the mom's just like, her mind is just exploded in her face. That's the good side.
That's the stuff you love.
That's what I love about social media.
The Meet the Press Chuck Todd Cast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Right now on NBC News Now.
Here in Chicago, about 20,000 middle schoolers returning to school today.
They also took advantage of existing vaccine distribution networks throughout Alaska.
Ready actors. An indie horror film, a talented young actress, and a deadly shot. Dateline's newest podcast, Killer Roll.
Action!
Subscribe for free wherever you get your podcasts.
The COVID vaccines are here.
And it's been a little confusing.
So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Roll up your sleeves.
And visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out when and where to get your vaccine.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready?
We're going to do our part to spread the